I'd like to introduce Dr. Peter Goddard, the director of the Institute for Advanced Study. Dr. Goddard, a mathematical physicist, has been the director of the Institute for Advanced Study since January of 2004. He's distinguished for his contributions in the areas of string theory and quantum field theory, as well as strong administrative leadership in academic institutions in the United Kingdom. Formerly Master of St. John's College, the University of Cambridge, England, Dr. Goddard played a key role in the establishment of the university's Sir Isaac Newton Institute for Mathematical Sciences and served as its first deputy director. He also led the planning and fundraising for the University of Cambridge Center for Mathematical Sciences, one of the world's largest centers for research and teaching in the mathematical sciences. Dr. Goddard's the author of over 100 published papers. Dr. Goddard.
It's a great pleasure to be able to welcome you here today for your conference on smart immigration. I don't think you could have chosen a more appropriate location for your meeting. And this actually, not just because this really was Einstein's alley. If you look outside in front of Ford Hall, our main building, the alley of trees up towards Oldham Farm is the alley he walked down every day. No institution has benefited more from or embodied more the idea of smart immigration than the Institute for Advanced Study. When our founders, Louis Bamberger and his sister Caroline Bamberger Ford, themselves the children of immigrants, established the Institute in 1930, they specified that it is fundamental to our purpose and our expressed desire that in the appointments to the staff and faculty, as well as in the admission of workers and students, no account be taken, directly or indirectly, of race, religion, or sex. We feel strongly that the spirit characteristic of America at its noblest, above all, the pursuit of higher learning, cannot admit of any conditions as to personnel other than those designed to promote the objectives for which this institution is established, and particularly with no regard whatsoever to accidents of race, creed, or sex. And this was a much more forward-looking statement in 1930 than it sounds to us today. And there cannot be a clearer example of smart immigration than recruiting Albert Einstein as your first professor. When the Institute opened its doors in 1933, 3 out of the initial 5 members of faculty, Einstein, John von Neumann, and Hermann Weyl, were immigrants, refugees from the rise of Nazism in Europe. And it actually remains the case that 60% of our current permanent faculty of 28 professors come originally from abroad, from Argentina, Belgium, Canada, Denmark, England, Germany, Greece, Israel, India, Italy, the Netherlands, Poland, Russia, South Africa, as well as the United States. Being cosmopolitan is not the Institute's primary objective. It's just the inevitable and natural consequence of assembling the best academic talent in an unconstrained fashion. And the same international diversity is reflected each year in the 200 or so visiting fellows who come from universities around the world to spend 6 months or more at the Institute. Again, 60% of them come from abroad, typically from 35 or more countries each year. Of course, we work hard to ensure that coming here is as free from obstacles as it can be, but this has involved much more staff time in recent years. However, as you may appreciate, academics are not always the easiest of individuals to guide through the challenges of immigration. There are various versions of what happened when the great mathematical logician Kurt Gödel was interviewed by the Immigration and Naturalization Service in Trenton in 1948. He was accompanied as supporters by his great friend Albert Einstein and by Oscar Morgenstern, one of the founders of game theory. One version is that when he was asked to confirm that it was not his intention to overthrow the government of the United States by force, he replied that it wasn't necessary to use force. But the more accurate version, this really happened, was when he was asked whether he'd read and understood the Constitution of the United States, he said he was having problems because he detected a number of internal contradictions, which he felt might leave the government vulnerable to takeover by extremists. At this point, both Einstein and Morgenstern kicked him and persuaded him to shut up, and his application was approved. Well, it's very good to have you here, and I give you my good wishes for your important conference.